Previously on See You Next Tuesday.
Ooh.
Wait. Oh, feck.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cantrip.
Guys, this is fun.
Let's not beat around the bush.
We need people.
Reproduction.
Welcome everybody to See You Next Tuesday.
Oh yeah, hi.
Together and talk about stuff on Tuesday.
Yeah,
So-
we're John. He's Eric. There, Dan. It's all a big happy family.
So this week we want to talk about a movie that came out in 2015 to very little overall fanfare, despite having a very star-studded cast. We watched it together on tour, and we're quite enthralled by it, I would say. We watched it to wind down after a gig, and that might have been a mistake. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was, I think.
But we loved it. The movie is called Tale of Tales. If you haven't seen it, well, you're going to have to watch it now. It's Salma Hayek.
Yeah, absolutely. That's required watching for this week.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's
Salma
our
Hayek, a cameo by John C. Reilly, and a bunch of better actors, too.
Anybody friends with him on the facey?
It's I think it's fair to say that if you're going to keep watching from here on, you're going to get some spoilers. That should be fine. But the cool thing about this movie, I feel like even if we do spoil it a little bit, it's still really good to watch.
Oh, it's still fantastic. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that it's not about the ending.
Literally,
Because apart from anything else, there are three of them.
Yeah. Is there only three? I thought there were four.
There might be four. You're right. There are four.
The three.
Well, there. Yes, but then there's the ending that kind of combines the three stories that you've been told, and just kind of lets you know that it's kind of an ending after an ending, kind of coded to an ending.
I realized that each of the three, it gets a little confusing because each of the three stories has two phases throughout the movie.
Very much so.
So there's the beginning where where Salma Hayek is trying to have a child. And then there's also the flea. Right?
Yeah.
And that's in the second story.
And then there's the
king coming to the door and wanting all the the show.
Basically.
It's probably worth explaining for anybody that hasn't seen this that what Tale of Tales does is it tells some Italian folk tales from the era of essentially the kind of era of Brothers Grimm, possibly even a little earlier. So
I thought it was
we're talking. Yeah, okay, earlier. So we're talking the era of dark and fucked up folk tales.
Yeah.
The kind of things where the happy ending is the daughter marries the father. That kind of whole ballpark kind of thing. That is literally the happy ending in one of the Grimm fairy tales.
Happy ending?
Well, you have to assume for somebody, but anyway, it's very much played that way. So yeah, folk tales, they're from the north of Italy. They were gathered by a courtier whose name has just completely gone out of my head. Venetian courtier, I think he was, who had gathered this bunch of stories that they drew onto the film.
So cool.
So yeah, think real messed up dark fairy tales.
I mean, the first one is a beautiful testimonial as to why overbearing parents should never mess around with artificial fertility kinds of procedure. Because God knows how many other people are going to get pregnant around him. I mean, as the rhinoceros once says, my rhymes are so potent they made all of the ladies in the area pregnant. That's sort of what happened here.
That's not where. Okay.
What? That's what he says. Or maybe it was the hip hippopotamus. I don't know.
So it should be noted that Tale of Tales is not like it's not like the greatest of all tales. It's not like the King of Kings. It's more like a collection of tales. This is a tale of tales. That's what it refers to.
It's a story about stories.
Yeah.
Right. Well, specifically 3 of them.
Yeah, but it's very meandering, and I think that what I love about it as a film is it triggers so many different like little movie feelings for me.
Mhm.
Like I think that there's lots of moments where you're like, wow, that's beautiful scenery. Because like I mean, it's all 3D and digital, but it's all medieval times. The architecture is really interesting and stunning, and like the scenery is beautiful. So like you have that, and then whoever did the soundtrack for that and whoever did like the color treatment for that movie, absolutely brilliant. Like everything kind of is like this incredibly melancholy but like at the same time engaging, like kind of color washy um, attitude, and then all the acting reflects that as well. It's like everything is so perfectly delivered that in this
Well,
kind of like bourgeois mundane way, but also very human to the point that like when you see them people reacting to things, the things that they react to, like when the flea is sick, the king reacting to it, you're all like,
Yeah.
what the hell? It's like all the moments where anything's happening in the movie, you're like, what the fuck is going on right now? But all of the moments in between are just like really gentle human like melancholy moments. It's so brilliantly done.
Yeah.
There is an interesting use of color in the way that almost in the way that Jean Genet uses color, but sort of more muted. I mean, like the albino twins for one thing, which there's got to be some symbolism in there that
The albino twins that were born after one day in the womb.
yeah, and to different mothers. That was kind of weird. One of whom was technically a virgin, as far as we know. We never trust the staff really, but
It's
that
what
like
my
a
brother-in-law is
Nepalese
Mongolian. And
Mongolian
they do
yak
distill spirits out of horse milk.
Right. The fermented
Yeah,
mare's milk.
And it
That
tastes
stuff is.
exactly as you would think it might.
Did he bring some over for you, John?
He brought some over for anybody who was willing to try it.
Which is you.
I would never dream of suggesting I invented the game Taste This Is Mingin, but I certainly introduced it to Cantrip.
Was that a different title for Guess Where This Has Been? Or was that a
No, that's a variant.
all right. So anyway, back to the film. I've often, in thinking back on them, trying to sort of analyze them almost in a Joseph Campbell-y sort of way. The arc of the stories is a little odd. I mean, there does not seem to be. I mean, yeah, there's always a sort of crux moment to it, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of like journey that any of the characters go on. There's not a great deal of like, okay, they started in this space and then they ended up in this space. It's sort of like they started in this space and then things got fucked up.
I don't know, the last story, the girl who gets kidnapped or the princess who gets kidnapped by the ogre. I mean, she essentially goes on a journey in that she gets kidnapped and discovers that she actually has it in her to get the hell out and get home. Even however horrible that process might be.
And then her dad
Right.
succeeds the throne to her, and she becomes queen.
Okay, so that does have a kind of climax, denouement, and all that sort of literary nonsense. But like the one with Vincent Cassel, where he's like, the horny king who gets seduced by your one's voice, and then
Yeah.
I mean, that one was weird.
Yeah. And it ended poorly. It ended
It ended
right back
very
where they
poorly
started.
for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like either no skin or reverting back to. I mean, that one literally, your one starts reverting back to a former state. So whatever she may have gained, I mean, is gone. It's toast. It's
And actually, her sister is probably in pretty bad shape at that
yeah,
point.
she's kind of worse off, I think.
When she's been flayed.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Tied to a tree and flayed alive. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
That was one way they used to kill people in the old days, isn't it? Like take their skin off and then let them run around and get infected and all that kind of crap.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you don't last long.
No. No,
But-
no. I mean, it just doesn't strike me that you would necessarily last for long enough for an infection to set in.
Yeah, that's probably true. Dehydration would probably get them first.
Yeah.
Loss of
Um,
blood.
yeah, there'd probably be a bit of that too.
Shock, surely. That's that. I mean, if you've had all of your skin peeled off, shock would get you. I would think.
Yeah.
And ladies and
That
gentlemen,
was
now you know how cantrip works.
Exactly.
This is what we talk about.
Yeah.
yeah. What's the biology of public executions? You know, it's
I do remember we once spent an entire evening discussing how exactly it is mongooses are immune to all but massive overdoses of cobra venom.
Yeah. They also have pretty tough hides and they're kind of quick. But then you look at the honey badger.
Now
The honey
that's
badger don't give a shit.
It's that,
You know,
that's the same as mongooses, isn't it?
are they?
they're not in the same family. They're not.
They're not.
No. Close related.
I
but-
seem to remember that question came up at the time as well.
Right. I mean, are honey badgers related to other badgers?
Loosely, yeah, they are. Yeah,
Actually?
Right.
yeah, they're all in the same umbrella family of the weasel family. They're all a type.
Oh,
Are they all Mustelidae?
Indeed, yes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Oh, I
but
knew there was a
now,
reason.
if
Like,
you look at the Mustelidae tree, honey badgers are their own section. So honey badgers and stink
yeah,
badgers
nothing else is
make
getting
up
that.
their own category. They're unique.
wait, there are stink badgers too.
Yeah. I don't
No,
know.
they-
I don't
stink
know
bugs.
much about them, so I don't know if they are called that for anything other than their musk, which all mustelids have. But
Hence the word.
yeah, although I know that skunks. Actually, you know what? I think maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I've misinformed you. So skunks and stink badgers are their own category, and they actually got moved to a new family or something like 15 years ago or something like that. They got
Oh,
reclaimed.
right. Are they no longer related to badgers and Mustelidae?
Well, I
No,
think
they
that they're
divorced.
next to them in the tree, but they have their own categories. Mephitids. They're Mephitidae.
Methodidae.
Okay.
I think that it's funny that to think about the fact that a flea has a recognizable aroma. Like, have you ever smelled a flea?
Tried once, but it just went rocketing straight up my nose, and then I spent about a half an hour trying to blow it back out. So
Yeah, we've all been there. Inadvertently snorted fleas.
I
Well,
will,
stop
I will
foaming
highly
acid.
recommend the West African black ants. They are particularly, so much better than,
They're pre-ocean, are they?
so much better than banana skin strings, or nutmeg.
See You Next Tuesday was filmed before exactly no one.
La la la.